Okay, I really don't think that what's his name, Nick Gurley and Reventure Capital, with all the doom and gloom videos, is gonna like how this Tampa Bay market is playing out right now. Yet I'm bringing you the real in what's happening in the Tampa Bay real estate market. Now, by the way, I'm Sean Reddy of the Keller Williams Reddy Group, and this is our monthly segment, Tampa Bay Market in a Minute. If you've seen these before, it's usually me in front of the camera with some pop-up stats uh, as I'm reading off of what you're looking at right now. Yet, I'm experimenting a little bit here. I'm a visual learner, more so than an audio learner, much more so than an audio learner. And I feel like this would maybe appeal more to the visual learners out there. Now, it's not the prettiest spreadsheet in the world, yet this is how I keep the data that I report, and we're going to do that right now. So we're hopping into what the Tampa Bay real estate market looks like, both month over month, year over year. Stay tuned because I have some longer term perspective if we're going to look at some graphs on how the market's trending. Basically, the reason that I make these is we want to know, is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? Which direction is it heading? We're looking at 9 different stats here, and some are heading in direction of sellers. Those are the green cells. Some are heading in the direction of buyers. Those are the red cells. And again, looking at it from a month over month and year over year perspective, this should be pretty telling. Now, I kicked this off by kind of tongue-in-cheek referencing some of those doom and gloom videos that are out there just bashing the Florida market. Yet the real numbers might tell you something different. And let's start by looking at these green cell or these green metrics first. Again, these are the ones moving towards your goals if you're selling a home. Let's say you're selling a home independent of buying another one. You just want to cash out and get out. These are the numbers that you want to see. First and foremost, for the third straight month, both the average and median market times decreased in Tampa Bay. I keep saying Tampa Bay. This is Hillsborough and Pinellas counties combined. FYI, if you want this in a different market, let me know. Happy to make it for you. All right, so like I said, average days on market down 10%, median days on market down 9%. The average last month was 57, the median was 29. Now that measures the homes that went under contract, which by the way, that's 3,875 data points, so ample amounts of data. Speaking of new purchase contracts, like I said, 3,800 plus, almost 3,900. That's up 13% month over month for the third straight monthly increase. So go back to January, contracts jumped up 33%, February 6%, and then 13% in March. Closed sales also up, second straight month of 23+% gains in closed sales, 25% this month. Market times we talked about, the last green cell here, median sale price to list price ratio. What that measures is final asking price, close price, what's the gap in between, or what's the percentage of that closed price. 97.74, you see it's a 0% increase. I just don't have any decimal points. It is up, 0.22% month over month, yet up is up. All right, for the reds, for the, I guess we broke another streak. New listings up 12% month over month. That's to be expected this time of year. We typically do see that. I'll show you in the graphs here in a minute what that looks like compared to the last couple of end of Q1s into Q2s. Available homes thus are up for the third straight month, this time 4%. So as of April 1st today, as I'm recording this, there are 14,415 homes on the market between Hillsborough and Pinellas counties. So there's your month over month view. Let's take a look at what that looks like from a year over year perspective. Yes, I have multiple markets in here I'm tracking, so we're just focused on this Tampa Bay one right here. Now, do you think there might be a mistake with the color coding? There's not. Every single one of the metrics that we track year over year has pushed into the favor of buyers. So while a lot of these month over month trends are pushing towards sellers' favors, year over year, buyers, it's all you. Average market time, average and median, both up 3.6%. Available homes up 35%. New listings up 12%. Purchase contracts and closed sales both down 1.6, 1.8%. Even price, the average selling price. Now, this caveat here, that doesn't necessarily mean values across the board are all way down. It just means what sold in March is cheaper than what sold in March of last year. 5.7% on average, 1.3% median. The spread between sold price and final asking price also down 1.1%. So more deals are being negotiated. So as a buyer, what this means for you, if homes are taking longer to sell, that gives you more time to make a decision. That gives you more or less pressure to make a decision. That gives you more leverage when you're making an offer. When you have new listings, you have available homes, both up significantly. That's obviously more choice. And it's also more leverage because you can use a similar home that's for sale as leverage when you're making an offer. New contracts, closed sales, both down. That means you have less competition as a buyer. Price is down. Obviously, you want to see that. Median sold price to list price ratio. That means that more buyers are striking more deals and getting a median of 2.25% off the final asking price. I say final because, as we know, some homes have to reduce in order to sell. So that's what year over year looks like. Now let's look at some of these graphs to get a longer term perspective on what's happening in the market. All right, so the first one here, this is average and median days on market. The blue is average, the red is median. So you can see some patterns as far as like peaks and valleys and things like that. A lot of these exacerbated by the storms of last year. You can see October, there was a big spike. You take that October out and it's kind of just this slow arcing trend line in the up direction. Although again, last couple months, both those numbers are down. So we'll see how that shakes out if homes are making a trend of selling faster as we get into the spring months. Okay, next we have relationship between new listings in the blue, total inventory, meaning what's on the market, the first of each month in the red, and then new purchase contracts in the yellow. So ever since, and this goes back to August of 22, but basically ever since April-ish of 2023, the blue line's been higher than the yellow line. So more homes coming to market than coming off market by way of new listings versus new contracts. And that shows up in the red line continuing to trend higher and higher and higher. Now, look back to last year, same time, there were 10,656 homes on the market compared to 13,802 this year. What's going to happen? Well, let's put it this way. That whole lock-in effect thing that has kept sellers in their homes not wanting to give up their 3% rate for a 7% rate seems to have gone away because, I mean, every single month consistently, there's 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 new listings hitting the market in the 2-county area. Not all of them are going to get bought, so they kick down the road, and the inventory grows. So I'd love to know, and I'll have to go back and report back on this, but love to know last time there were 13,000 homes on the market, almost 14,000 homes on the market. Probably been a decade plus, possibly back into the Great Recession. So multi-year high on inventory right now. Does that mean homes are not selling? No, of course homes are selling. 3,875 of them went to contract last month. However, as a seller, you have to be more cognizant of your competition. It is not about the number or the price that you want. It's about how do you compete with your competition in order to be one of the percentage of homes that actually sell. All right, I'll get off my soapbox. Closed sales, trending upwards as they tend to do this time of year. And we'll see where that goes. Last year in March, 3,238? Right behind that this year. And prices. So this is obviously a key factor for a lot of people, not just the ones that are in the real estate market, but everybody who owns a home wants to know what's happening with my home value. And here you can see it's pretty flatlined. There was the blue is average, by the way. There was an average home spike in June. I think there was like a $10+ million property that brought that average up. But you strip that out and you can see that it's been pretty flat, even trending downwards. And that all goes back up to here with the inventory trending upwards. So we'll keep an eye on that. And then finally, median sold price to list price ratio. This one's it measures the homes that close in any given month, so that you can see there's like, 1 to 2% jumps and falls in any given month, kind of throwing any sort of trend line off. But it is interesting data to continue to watch regardless. Okay, so there you have it. We looked at the month over month. We looked at the year over year. Month over month, kind of half trending towards sellers, half trending towards buyers. Year over year, 100% of these metrics are trending towards buyers. But again, this is a wide geographic area. This is a 2-county area, very populous area. Some neighborhoods are performing way differently than others. So if you'd like a breakdown of where you live or where you're looking, or if we can help in any way, I am an educator first, a consultant second, sales come after that. So I'm happy to break down any numbers that are important to you, any metrics that are important to you. And I appreciate you watching. We'll see you next month.